Last time you brought up the Unk Club, I think it's still funny. I'm one of the oldest players, but I started so young that people would probably overestimate my age now. You 26? I think you've nearly made it to the Unk Club. 27 in like 10 days. Oh, you could join the Unk stack then. But like for someone who's played Osu for over 16 years, yeah, if I'd joined when I first saw Osu, I would have joined in 2009. No, when was, hold on. There was a video for this, wasn't there? There was a video on, this one? Yeah. This is October 2009. So if I joined when I'd seen this video, without imagining it being just a fan parody, I thought this was just a fan video. I had no idea this was actually a game. Fascinating how a lot of mappers tried to stick to the EVA Wendan style. Now we completely gone the opposite direction. Here's my... Okay. Hot take. In fact, no, probably ice-cold take, okay? If we'd stuck to mapping lower diffs in the style of Wendan and Elite B agents, it would be so much easier to get into the game, and it would be so much more popular than it is right now. Because normals, even easies, normals, like, they're awful. They're really unintuitive, they're poorly mapped, there's no soul to them. It should be a requirement to map it in this sort of style. I disagree. Okay. Change my mind. A mapper I would instantly be turned off if I was forced or inclined to map in a way I did not want to. You're saying that for easies and normals. Are you a mapper that even maps easies and normals, or do you just AI generate them? It's not that's not a personal thing, by the way. That's like just a... I think that's reasonable. That's why I don't like how it is right now. Hey, Chromasia. It just sucks. It sucks. It really sucks. You can count maybe on two hands the amount of good easies and normals that actually exist in the game. I actually do usually just get GDs. I guess it doesn't apply to me too well. Yeah, you mapping an easy, a normal, just is ass. Nobody knows how to do it properly within the ranked criteria, within the ranking criteria. Because forcing distance snap on easies and normals is the least correct way of approaching it. At that point, you're not even playing Osu, you're just playing Follow the Line Simulator. Like, it's so stupid. It's designed for people who haven't used a mouse. Yeah, it like, stresses me out. You want to know the real reason that there's an easy... that like there's a player crisis right now, that player numbers are dropping? No one can get into the fucking game because it's ass. Lazer having sleight ahead accuracy means that all of the maps that in easy and normals that are mapped with sleight ahead accuracy in mind to make it forgiving and easy for the player and to have them get like 98% most of the time, even though they're hitting way off time, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work in Lazer. There needs to be a revolution in easy and normal mapping, because what they're doing right now sucks. That's my take, anyway. Don't think new players are quitting because they get hundreds on sliders? You don't think new players are quitting because they see that they can't get above a 60% on easy maps, and they're like, this game's too hard for me, I can't learn it. Like, phrase it differently. It's not just about one slider in isolation. What even is the correct way? I think it's an impossible problem to solve. No problem's impossible. That's defeatist thinking. Why is Peppy so stubborn when it comes to sleight ahead accuracy, though? Because it's correct to have it in a rhythm game. Why would you have parts of a rhythm game that you need to hit accurately and parts that you don't? What sense does that make? You either have accuracy on or you have accuracy off, and you play like Guitar Hero. This game is inherently hard to get into. It really isn't. It really isn't. Or else it wouldn't have sold... Okay... EBA sales figures. 179,000? Okay, maybe I'm wrong for looking for that. Maybe I should be looking for Wendan. Because it definitely wasn't a Western audience thing. Some news sources, such as Game Central on Channel 4's teletext service in the UK, gave it positive coverage. Something of a cult hit among gamers who are prepared to import it. Challenging but never unfair. I don't know, I can't see wow, it really did not sell massively then. If this is to be believed, right? No shot. I don't think that's right. I think it was more popular than that would have you believe. Didn't sell well? Really? It's a niche game, what did you expect? Whatever. Whatever, man. But that didn't stop people from playing it and learning it. Like, the whole... I learned to play Osu by playing Elite Beat Agents. And it was a perfect introduction into the way you tap the circles, and then you tap and drag sliders. It really was not so overstimulating like it is now in the easies and normals now. Took me like 5 months. Yeah, the new player thing about Osu is not... It's easies and normals, you know? It's easies and normals. It's not reaching new audiences like it used to. We have an advertising problem. This is also true. But because of word of mouth, right? Word of mouth spreads it, and word of mouth never died. However, it's more difficult to get into the game on lazer because the rewards are just not there. Like, the system that you play in, it's not as forgiving, and it means that you can't get above, like, a 60% without knowing what you're doing. Maps need to change. Like, normals, hards, not even hards. Like, easies, normals need to change. Play Laser of Classic mod was ranked, so you are part of the group of people who can't get above 60% accuracy without being given, like, a crutch. Like, without being babied into... being good at rhythm. No, I am not. Don't you think 20 years worth of maps with all of them having slider head accuracy leniency in mind is too late to force? No, not at all. Because it's a rhythm game. If you're not tapping sliders accurately, then what are you doing on circles? Like, can you even get above a 75% normally anyway? Like, I think you're approaching it completely wrong. You have been allowed to be playing badly for the last 15 years. Only thing that worries me... Yeah, I think people just haven't caught up with what they should be doing on lazer for the benefit of new players. They get that much harder, the slider act doesn't punish you too much, but when you are not used to slider head accuracy, and not used to even hitting accurately in the first place, you're gonna be getting like 50% on maps because you don't get it. Nobody gets it. When you start playing OC, it's a universal thing that you don't get it. Even on the DS games, sliders still have more or less the same function with or without slider act. The change shouldn't make the old maps really feel that different. It doesn't change the old maps at all. It doesn't change anything. Because if you are playing properly, you should be hitting accurately anyway. Like, it's a rhythm game. If you cannot keep rhythm, you deserve to be punished for it. You deserve to have 80% accuracy if you can't hit sliders in rhythm. The slider tail is always on beat. And that's the only thing that should be an automatic, like, hit sound. No wonder people don't think Osu is a rhythm game if that's what players are doing. That's why I much prefer lazer. I think people who complain about having to map around slider head accurately don't get it. They actually don't get it. I think anyone who thinks slider head accuracy is a bad thing and should be avoided is someone that doesn't really understand that you can play a map more than once and you don't need to sight read a map. You don't need to sight read a song. In fact, you shouldn't be able to properly sight read a song with 99% accuracy unless it's generic. Like, if there's anything funky that goes on, then you should only know because you've heard the song. Slider head accuracy controversial? For some fucking reason, yes. Like, I don't get it. I actually don't get it. It's just change and people don't like that. Yeah, exactly. The complaint about slider head accuracy is more about the maps that are full of sliders. Okay, but the sliders happen on beat anyway. If you are complaining about slider head accuracy and it is that deep, then you're still playing easies and normals. And I think whatever floats your boat, man, you know? They never talk about how lazer made sliders better with the better timing window on the tail. Thank you, GN, for that one. Thank you very much, GN. Thank you for actually having the guts to post that on the GitHub when it was me, GN, I think Nainaro, Yokes, Kingling, like a small group of us that were actively discussing how this all should pan out and how it should work. And the slider tail leniency thing not being decided by a single point. The slider head, when you tap it, actually automatically activates the slider follow ball after tapping it, even if the ball is not underneath your cursor. Like on a map like the penis, eek, when you click the circle, if you click it just too late and the slider ball is already left, you slider break because you have to catch up with the slider ball and hover it to activate the slider follow circle, right? Doesn't happen on lazer. You tap the circle, the slider follow circle activates immediately, even if your cursor is not on the slider ball. You follow the slider completely fine. Like, nothing is wrong. Slider end 100 doesn't have the same animation as stable tilt me. That's because if you're hitting a 100 on a slider, you've hit it on the head. And if you miss the tail or you miss the slider tick, then that's something completely different from actually hitting accurately. Why does that tilt you? No, just the slider end, not slider head ac. Yeah, because in stable, slider head accuracy doesn't technically exist, because you can still hit the slider head accurately, but get a 100 because you missed the slider tail. In laser, it's two completely separate things. If you hit a 100 but hit the slider tail, you still get a 100. But if you hit a 300, then miss the slider tail, you get a 100. That doesn't it doesn't exist. Slider head accuracy doesn't even exist in Scorby 2, man. Grow up. This shit is yeah, it's also skinnable, so you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. Think you don't see what I meant? No, I see what you meant. I know exactly what you meant, and you are looking at it through the wrong lens. You're looking at it thinking change is bad. Why have they changed it? When you don't see the reasoning behind the change. Seek first to understand and then be understood, okay? That's something that will treat you very well going through the rest of your life. Why change the animation if it's not a new mechanic? Why? Because it is a new mechanic! You're not getting it! You're the one that's being ignorant here! I'm gonna crash out. I did crash out, actually. I'm not even gonna crash out. If this guy sends another message in chat saying about how it tilts him anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Bro, we all misaim slider end for 15 years. How that's new? Okay. Go read the wiki. Go and read the Osu wiki on how laser differentiates from stable. And then I want a 200-word essay in my Twitch chat about how different mechanics should be responded to differently by the different clients. Do your research, okay? Go do your homework. Anyway,